Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Mad Girls Club. We are here with another episode. We have two amazing hairstylists here from DFW. We have Elizabeth and Crystal. And I am going to let you guys introduce yourself. Just let them know like your name, your business name, and kind of like a little bit about me before we get started.
Okay.
You want to go first?
Sure. Okay, so Crystal Lopez. My IG handle is Mains by Crystal. I just recently changed it up because I think everyone knew me as Alexa, which it was like the best of both worlds because like everyone in my family knows me as Cristal and then my clients would be Alexa. So I just felt like it was just way too complicated. And I'm like, okay, I just want to keep it to my actual name. Like, I love my name, Cristal. Other than my mom calling me, like, Alejandra when she's angry, like, there's no need for
Is that your middle name?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's Alexandra, but she'll be like, Alejandra, you know? It's just like, girl, what? And then, so I'm 26 years old. I live in Dallas. I am engaged and
Congrats.
Thank you. And this is my first podcast and I'm so excited. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for
so
being
much.
on here. I'm excited.
Yes. Yeah.
And then a little bit about you.
So my name's Elizabet.
Yes, no H.
No H, yes. But it's okay if you guys say Elizabeth. I'm totally fine with that. So I'm 31. I've been doing hair since end of 2019. I also live in Dallas. Well, I live in Richardson, but Dallas.
DFW.
Yeah. I have a daughter. She is 15. And yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm kind of nervous, so I'm sorry if I stutter.
No, so at the Mad Girls Club, I know it can be like nerve-wracking, you know, being in your first podcast and stuff. So I like to do icebreakers just to like set the mood so you guys aren't nervous, you know. So if you had to use one tool as a hairstylist for the rest of your life, nothing else, just one tool to do the job, what would you pick?
Okay, I already have mine. The air wrap.
Air wrap?
The air wrap,
okay.
yeah.
The air wrap to do hair?
Oh, like for myself or for like a
for
client?
Your clients.
Oh, for my clients. A tool. A blow dryer. That's I don't know.
I'm going to say lightener.
Lightener?
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Is there like a reason behind that? You use it a lot?
Most of my business is using lightener. Yeah.
Okay.
So without it,
That's a
I feel
good one.
like I wouldn't have a business.
Awesome. So I actually know Alexa because she actually did my hair.
Yes, it looks so good.
Thank you. And so I met Alexa or Cristal. I'm sorry.
Yes, Cristal.
I'm so used to
No,
saying
it's okay.
Alexa
Yeah.
which explains the name
which
change.
You knew me as Alexa.
Yeah. And so Crystal, I met her through a friend in school who I was looking for a hairstylist at the time. And luckily that person introduced me to you. And then I came to see you. And then I saw you next to her.
Yeah.
And I just want to say, like, now that I follow you and, you know, I've seen your Instagram too, as someone who works in the marketing field, like I love like the aesthetics that you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Mainly, like one thing that I really, really love is like how you guys take pictures, like the duo pictures that you guys have.
The
like
side by side.
Yeah, I love those.
Oh, yeah.
Those are my favorite. Yeah.
Those are fun.
Yeah. So I had you guys get on Instagram, ask, you know, a few questions to your followers. I have some questions myself. And then I wanted to bring them on here because there's so many hairstylists here in DFW. And there's so many people who want to be hairstylists, you know.
Yes.
So I have a lot of questions for you guys so that we can help people who want to become hairstylists, you know, get the advice that they need to like be in the position that you guys are in. And then also, you guys are entrepreneurs, business women. You guys don't work for a salon anymore. Right. You guys have your own business now. And so I want to like pick on that as well in case, you know, I think being a hairstylist, you're kind of like solo, but then not 100% solo, you know, like as a business entrepreneur. So I just want to talk a little bit about that too. And I have my questionnaire here.
Okay.
And so I guess we can start off with like, prior to working together, what did life look like for you two?
So we met back in January of last year. Before that, I was already in a single studio. I loved my space. Like I feel like I created a good vibe, and just having like a one-on-one time with my clients was just everything I ever dreamed of. And yeah, I was working a lot. I think I was working like 6 days a week. But I really enjoyed it. Yeah, so that's where I was.
I was at a salon in downtown Dallas, which I believe I was there for a year, almost going to a year before I went into going solo. And it was a good opportunity for me to grow from like business, kind of seeing how they would run their business. Kind of before that, I was in a salon before that, my last salon, and I just felt like I just wanted to keep growing, you know, like you're fresh out of school, you want to soak up everything, you want to surround yourself with good vibes, good energy, especially like being a hairstylist, like, you know, you're surrounded by so many girls and so many different like personalities and everything. And I just knew I just wanted to kind of keep my head straight into, you know, manifesting what I wanted. I saw that vision for myself, so I was like, okay, I have to keep working, kind of seeing what I'm gonna, you know, sometimes salons, they're just there, you learn from them, but nothing is ever temporary. So I was just like kind of working to kind of growing my business and my name. And
so then like what I guess before you like decided to be in a hairstylist, and then, you know, what steps do you take to become a hairstylist? Like I assume you go to school for it, you know?
Yeah.
So you guys wouldn't go to like a university or college, right?
No.
You go to hair school.
Yeah.
Okay. So like what is there like a hair school that you guys recommend? Like which ones did you guys go to? Like what is there to look for when you're like wanting to be a hairstylist?
I went to Ogle, which is like a really big known school.
I've heard of that one.
That everyone's just like, you know, I want to go there. They're going to be the best of the best. Like you're going to learn like to become the best hairstylist. But looking back, I'm like, you could go to any like beauty school anywhere like locally or whatever. Everyone at the end teaches the same thing. You know, the only difference is like the big brand name and how much you're paying. I have a little sister who she went to a smaller like academy. And I was like, you know, go ahead and do that. You don't need to go to like, you know, Palm Metro, Ogle, which nothing like against them, but just like kind of seeing like money wise and
save
stuff.
your coins.
Yeah, save it. It's not all about that. And so
I remember when I was thinking about enrolling in cosmetology school, I went on this page on Facebook. It was like Dallas Beauty Community or something like that. And I asked the girls like what school they recommended, and everyone said literally just go to any school that's like not super expensive, because they're only going to teach you how to pass the state board. And so I got really lucky. I found a school in Duncanville that was like just going to open, and the tuition was great. So I feel like I ended up getting a really good deal, and took me 2 years to finish because I was part-time. Like I was working a full-time job and going to night school. And so it took me like 2 years, but it was worth it.
yeah.
How many hours is it that you guys need to do?
1,500 hours.
At that time,
1,500.
What was yours?
I think it's 1,000 now, but it was 1,500 at that time.
Oh, so it's less now.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
No. My
It's
sister, I was like, you're only doing 1,000 hours? Like, that's not fair. Like, I remember I finished it like in 9 months because I'm like, I'm going in and getting out. Like,
That
you
is
know.
interesting.
Yeah. But I was full time at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, so the key takeaway here is don't go to the best name brand school out there. Save your coins and just find a school. They're going to teach you the same thing anyways.
Yeah. And you learn most of it, like, you know, at a hair salon that you work after and everything.
Yeah.
I noticed too that there's people who are hairstylists that will hold like classes. You know, like do you would you I guess suggest people to go to those things too?
100%. That's the way
Do
to
you
grow.
learn more there than in school?
Yeah.
So school's going to teach you like sanitation, Texas law, things
Perms
like that.
that nobody uses.
Literally, yeah, things that like are, you know, you'll learn color theory, which is really important. But everything else like balayage, how to tone, how to
They don't teach you that?
all those things, they touch on it, but not
Yeah, you're just
enough.
moving on a pace where it's like, okay, we do this, and then okay, move on to the next step,
That's
the
so
next
crazy.
lesson.
So then how do you learn how to do it?
Classes, YouTube,
Really?
practicing,
assisting like at
Mannequin
hair salons.
heads.
Yeah.
That is so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Practicing on your sisters.
Yes.
Really? That is so crazy. Okay. So, in going to, I am so sorry. I'm supposed to pick up my son apparently, and I forgot.
Oh,
No, I didn't forget to pick him up. I mean, like, I forgot to turn off my alarm. Okay, so my next question is, when did you know it was time to leave working for someone else and doing your own thing?
So let's see. Out of cosmetology school, I was still at my corporate job.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up leaving that place just because I was so unhappy and like miserable.
Okay.
I found my first salon and I started renting a chair. So there's kind of like two different, what would you call them? Like setups, like salon setups.
Mm-hmm.
So one is you rent a chair and then the other one's a commission salon. So when you rent a chair, you basically buy like all your material, all your tools. You book your own clients. You know, it's like you're your own boss. And commission salon, they help you do all of that. They provide everything, but they also take a cut from you. Usually it's like 60-40.
Oh, who keeps the 60? Who keeps the 40?
The owner keeps the 60 usually.
Really?
Yeah, because they provide, I mean, color is kind of expensive.
Okay.
And then you can use like their booking sites, like all that good stuff.
Okay.
And so my first salon, I was renting a chair. So I kind of felt like I was already doing everything on my own, which I loved. Like I could come in whenever, book the clients I wanted, have my own prices, stuff like that. And from there, I went on to a commission salon and really noticed, like, I learned a lot, but then I noticed the difference in kind of like what I was taking home. And so I also craved more of like being independent and just like going back to making my own schedule and stuff like that.
So which one do you prefer?
Definitely, I would say rental.
Renting the
In
chair.
my
So no
renting a chair.
60-40.
No 60-40.
It's not worth it.
The whole
It's not. I mean, like having your own business is a lot too, though. So if you don't want to have to manage all of that, a commission salon's not a bad idea, especially when you're like straight out of cosmetology school. Because then you get to learn how like much it takes to have your own business.
Right.
So both are really good. It just kind of depends on like where you're at in your career.
Gotcha. And then which path did you take?
So I did salon. So I was commissioned.
So you did 60-40.
Yes, I did.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I did that, and I guess at the moment I was just like a sponge, kind of craving like all like the techniques, learning everything from this well-known artist that I was hairstylist that was at the time. And then I prefer like being like solo now compared to like back then. I'm just like, I don't know if it's like, you know, like being like the oldest and like, you know, you're like that like boss and like, you know, you want to do everything your way. You're kind of like picky. You just kind of figure out like what you want and what you want to attract and you know, for the long run. And
so what I'm understanding is if you want to learn a lot from a hairstylist or you're just out of school and you don't feel safe kind of going solo, then do the 60-40.
Yes.
But if you feel comfortable like working for yourself and doing all the boss stuff, I guess you can say, then rent your own chair.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. I get it now. Now, when it comes to the legalities of the business, which, you know, people have a hard time with this in general with any business.
Yeah.
How do you get past that step? Like, I guess when you guys were doing like your LLC or if you have that, you know, like what did that look like for you? Since did you guys go to business school or anything for that?
No. So my corporate job really helped me with this one because I was dealing with businesses. And so I knew from the beginning that I would have to register as an LLC, which is limited liability company. And basically that just separates you from the business. in case like anything crazy happens. So from also working with the businesses, I knew that LegalZoom provided that service. So I just went ahead and registered through LegalZoom, got my EIN, and like opened up a bank account, a business bank account, got business credit, and just kind of went from there.
You make it sound so easy.
Like it was complicated. It's a lot of like legwork, you know what I mean? But once you get it down, you're like relieved.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was your
So
like?
so it was a month prior. I think I had a whole month to kind of do everything, because the next month, which was October, we were already starting like opening our studio.
Yeah.
So this is, you decided to do this while y'all are like now gonna open a salon together.
Yes. So
Okay.
honestly, like everything was like, thank God for her. Like I was texting her all the time. I would call her. I would FaceTime her. Like, what does LLC mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? Like I was like, okay, I have my EIN number. I already made my name. Like it was everything, like thanks to her. Like, you know, like I wouldn't have known all of it. But I feel like now that I have that knowledge, I'm open to, you know, helping other girls who have that same thing, because we all start from like somewhere. And I'm sure she started from somewhere, and she was so open to like, you know, helping me out and like making me understand like, okay, this is why, and like, you know, kind of step by step. It was such like a month of like stress. Like it was like, oh my God. And
You were also moving.
I was moving. Yes, I was moving apartments, and it was just so much. But now I'm just like, okay, like all of that is over with.
Yeah.
So like, how does taxes works? Like, do you do it quarterly, or do you do it like one time at the end, or like do the clients pay for that? Like, what does that look like?
So I do it just like once a year.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going tomorrow to file my
Oh,
taxes.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I have to go now.
Yeah, it's still such a subject that like I'm still learning about.
Okay.
It's kind of annoying because I wish they would teach this in cosmetology school. Because you literally come out of cosmetology school and you're like, okay, like you don't realize like you're your own business now, you know? So now you have expenses and things like that. And my first year, I was just like using Zelle and like Cash App or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Like under the table, low key.
Yeah, totally. Just like, just tell me.
So the next question is, do you believe you have to have a certain qualification to be a business owner, or do you think anyone can just do it?
That's a good one.
That I would take my example. Like I didn't know, but then like you can become like that business person that you need in your, you know. Yeah, that's mine.
I agree. I feel like anyone can be anything if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
But it does take like tough skin. I feel like you have to have like certain skills. I feel like to be a business owner, like you got to be able to work well with people, so that people want to work with you. So clients sit in your chair and stuff like that. I think you have to be like a good leader as well. Just in the future, like if you want to have employees, or even because your business like literally rides on you, like being able to be successful. So I feel like, yeah, if you want to be a business owner, like you can do it, but just be ready to work.
Take on that role, take on like, you know, everything behind it. Yeah, and just networking too, like finding out other people, and you know, not being afraid to ask questions. If you don't ask, like the answer is always no.
How do you network? If you want to network, like where do you go to find these people to network?
Classes is a good one. Social media. Yeah. Reaching out to other stylists. But classes is a good one. That's where you meet a lot of, you know, like-minded people. Everyone's there to learn, and you meet really cool people from like different states. So it's cool. Yeah.
So I do want to clarify, I forgot to even mention this, is that you guys own a salon together, but you have your own business and you have your own business.
Correct.
So it's two separate businesses. You just share a space together.
Correct.
I guess you can say. And then what is your salon name?
Dallas-Ft Studio.
And then yours?
Mine is Muse Hair Salon. Or studio? Yeah, one of those two.
She's figuring out.
Yeah.
Okay, and now when it comes, I know I was talking a little bit about like your marketing and stuff like that. I'm curious to know when it comes to branding and picking a business name, how do you come up with like the idea, the aesthetic, the poses? Like where does that come from?
So I feel like when I think of a brand, it's like what you want your clients to feel when they look at your post or like come into your salon. For the salon, I think I was just going for like something like clean and like peaceful and earthy. We have like real plants in there and stuff like that. We have like a huge window, so there's natural lighting. Like I just wanted to be like relaxing and all that good stuff. For my name, for Della Hair, it has different meanings. I think it's
I love it.
Thank you. So
and I'm not being biased.
I know. You're gonna love this one. So obviously my last name's De La Torre. So that's kind of where Della comes from. But also Della in like, I think it's like in Zulu. It's like a African language. I just kind of Googled it like whenever I was looking for a name. It means complete or like satisfied. And then
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And Della in Della in English is from, so like from hair in a sense. And then it also has another meaning, and it's pleasure or delight. So I feel like getting your hair done is like
all of those things.
Yeah, all of those things. And when you get your hair done, you feel like a bad bitch, you know, and you feel complete, like you can take over the world. So that's kind of where I got Della Hair Studio from.
So do you guys have like the same aesthetic vibes?
Yeah.
Or you guys
would
kind of
say so.
different?
I feed a lot off of her because she's more like artsy and she takes her time, and I just love like the neutrals. Like I'm a real like just black girl.
Yeah.
I'll wear all black all the time.
Yeah, you guys are polar opposites right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I love it.
But we love like the same like aesthetic and the same branding kind of colors and like what we put out there. Very minimalist. Just kind of going straight to the point, and kind of I guess when you see something like that so clean and stuff, you're just like, oh, like it's more like captivating to the audience, to like our clients and future clients, and like she said, you kind of feed off from that. So like we get like those clients who love all the same things, and and
yeah, because I feel like whatever you put out, you attract.
Yeah. And then what kind of advice would you give to people who want to have their own beauty business?
Just go for it. Take that leap of faith. So get someone like a mentor or someone that you look up to, and kind of just see what they're doing, see how kind of they just started and how they're doing and stuff. But yeah, just going for it. Like the worst can't happen.
Yeah. I feel like if you ask yourself like why you want to have your own beauty business too, like what's your purpose, right? Like you definitely don't want to do it for the money. I guess that's what I'm aiming towards, because it's a lot of work. But if you want to have your own beauty business, just know your why, like what you want to offer as well. And then everything else will kind of just fall into place.
Yeah.
So I have like a little juicy questions that I want to ask you guys too.
Okay.
So what should a person look for in a hairstylist? Because there's so many people out there. You can hashtag Dallas hairstylist and so many people will pop up. Yeah, so like what should a person look for to pick that person, and what should a person look for that's like a red flag that they should be like, okay, they shouldn't go to that person?
Okay, that's a good question.
I think you should look for a hairstylist that is dedicated. Like if you see that they're taking classes, they're looking for different ways to perfect their craft. To me, that's like they're fully invested.
They're active too.
Yeah.
On IG.
Look for someone that specializes in what you want done to your hair. You don't want to go to like a curly hair specialist if like you don't have curly hair, because maybe that's just not like what they, you know what I mean, what they specialize. What else, Crystal?
Definitely like seeing like girls like their befores, kind of seeing like if you kind of fall in the same niche as what they're posting, like, you know, maybe a Latina, depending on like, instead of like someone who just does like all like natural level like 7, 8, like which are more blonder girls.
Okay.
Just kind of seeing like what their work is, you know. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, somebody that's reliable, you know, that's
Yeah.
going to show up to your appointment.
Yeah.
Is there any red flags that you think they should look for too?
Like Crystal said, if they're not active,
Yeah.
or if you just don't like their work.
Yeah. Or I've seen like stylists like just kind of ran on their Instagram stories about like, you know, somebody being late or something. I just don't feel like that's necessary to kind of post, like, even if there's no names.
I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah. And it's just kind of like, it doesn't attract me. Like, even being as a stylist, I'm like, you know, like, it's just not right to kind of bash clients at the end of the day or whatever. Like, I wouldn't want to feel comfortable even being there, you know. It's just, to me, it's just like, you know, I could like feel like that bad, like, you know, I don't want to
energy.
and if it doesn't feel right, then I would just be like, you know, no, I could find somebody else. And, you know,
Yeah, I think it's important to like with what they're posting, if you are attracted to their energy, I think that's good. But if you also feel like you can't sit in their chair for hours because of whatever vibe you're getting from them, then that's probably like, you know, you just probably shouldn't book with them if you're not feeling their vibe.
yeah.
So another one of my questions that I feel like everybody wants to know is, say I sit in your chair or something, or a client, whatever, and I do not like what you did to me.
Okay.
How do we go about telling you guys that we don't like this? Because I feel like on our end of things, one, it's really hard, you know, to speak up for ourselves because you guys spent so much time. We spent so much time sitting on this chair, you know, and I feel like a lot of times when people do voice themselves, that the hairstylist is very like, no, this is what you asked for, or just like won't accept it, or like, I don't know, it's just like very, what's the word, like very protective over like, I don't know, their business, or I don't know, they just don't
Like
want to
take it personal.
Yeah, they take
I
it personal.
see.
Exactly.
Okay.
Like, what advice would you give to people who have gone through that or will go through that? Like, what advice do you give them?
I would love for a client to tell me, like, at the moment, I know it's like a full, like, 6 hour, like, session. Maybe we could, like, reschedule for, like, another day or the next morning. But it's better just to say, like, upfront than, like, later getting, like, that text, like, hey, girl, like, you know, that nerve-wracking, like, text message that you get. And you're like, oh, like, you know, you feel bad. You're like, oh, I wish I could have, like, invited you to feel, like, that you're like your opinion, your voice doesn't matter. Like, I would love for, you know, a client to feel safe to kind of just tell me, or, you know, just to kind of work out, okay, this is like the resolution that we're going to do. Can you come in tomorrow morning? We could fix that for you. Or what is it that you don't like, you know, I just feel like it's fixable, you know, instead of you just kind of going home and not
Is there
it.
advice that you would give to a hairstylist that doesn't know how to go about that situation too?
I would say don't take it personal.
Yeah, don't take it
Like,
personal.
It's not an attack against you. It's just more of maybe they had a different image. Maybe something went wrong during the consultation.
Yeah.
But
I love feedback. Like, I always ask for, like, give me feedback, like, you know.
yeah, that's how you grow.
Yeah.
And like, you're human, like, you're gonna make mistakes. It's more of like how you own your mistakes and how you go about like fixing them. That makes you a better stylist. Yeah.
And I feel at the end of the day, the client will appreciate you doing that and, like, understanding them in that point of view.
Yeah, I would rather a client tell me, you know, I didn't like my hair, even if they take like 1 or 2 days to like, because sometimes it's like the shock of getting your hair done. You're like, I pictured it different.
Yeah.
Or like, I'm blonde and I've never been blonde before. So I think taking like a day or two to kind of see like, is it a shock because of the transformation, or is it I just don't like it? And then like reaching out to me, letting me correct it, and then keep you as a client versus like you feel like robbed, like you just paid like so much money or whatever, and now you hate your hair and you just want to put black box dye over it. Like that would make me so sad if I'm looking through your stories.
Yes, oh my god.
And then you have black hair.
Yes, I'm kind of sometimes like afraid of that. I'm like, oh my god, like they went somewhere else or they did this, like what?
Yeah, like
it's heartbreaking.
It doesn't have to be like confrontational. Just a nice message, and then you know, don't be rude about it, of course, but if you're a hairstylist and you feel like your client is attacking you because they just didn't really like their hair, I think you have to like dig deep and just realize what they're asking from you, and you can fix it. Color is fixable.
Yeah. And then the next question is there anything you did within the time frame of creating your business that you regret doing?
Yeah.
Spill the tea, girl.
Whenever I opened up actually the first place, and then whenever I started purchasing things for like the second place, I didn't really have a budget. Like I was just like, I got approved for a credit card for my business, and my boyfriend was like,
they'll get you.
I know. He was like, what's your budget? And I was literally like, I don't even have one, you know, like I know what I need and I need to buy it. And I'm going to set a vibe, and it just is what it is. Like I'll worry about it later. So I think having a budget would be good.
How do you know what budget to make?
I think I suck at, I'm sorry, I suck at budgeting. I think just being realistic with like,
what can you pay off?
What can you pay off, and how long is it going to take? And like, are you okay with having that debt? Yeah.
Anything you regret, Crystal? At the moment, no. I can't think of something right now. It would just be like, I wish I could have done this sooner. You know? Yeah.
That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
Another thing is like if you like taxes, you know how we talked about that, like it's still kind of like not new, but I'm not too well rounded on that. But if you project on making over $50,000 a year, talk to your tax consultant to see if there are ways to help you with how much you're going to pay in taxes, because my first year it was sad. Like I wish I would have known those things sooner.
I guess now that I'm solo, so I think like this question will be better for me for next year. And I'll be like, okay, my taxes would be, because this is my first time doing it like alone, as like independent. So I'm like, I don't know what to expect yet.
Well, good thing you have someone by your side that's literally have made those mistakes, so you don't have to.
From her.
Hey guys, your bestie Millie here. Trying to make a podcast is so hard, and I need your help to make the Mad Girls Club podcast enjoyable and exciting to listen to for listeners just like you. By helping us take this quick 2.5-minute survey, you can get a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card as a thank you for taking the survey at the end of season 2. You can take the survey at www.themadgirlsclub.com or at www.bit.ly/TheMADGC survey. The links will also be in the description section of this episode that will take you straight to it as well. Okay, now I kind of want to get into your background a little bit. Being that you both are Latinas, what was it like growing up with Mexican parents? Did that in any way cause trauma in your life or has helped you with your business?
So my parents, I'm Mexican. My parents always kind of raised me to like have like a corporate job, like a safety net, you know, some like a check that's going to come in every 2 weeks or whatever. And so whenever I was ready to open up my own business, I had all types of doubts. Like I wasn't sure if I was going to be successful. So I definitely feel like my upbringing traumatized me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I had to get over myself. And it's like a everyday.
How did you get over that?
Honestly, a lot of self-help books, listening to podcasts, just getting like a different perspective on things and not being so negative and like fearful of the unknown. Just kind of having like a mindset of like abundance and like the universe got me, and just knowing, that I would be successful and like kind of be where I want to be.
So now that you are successful, did their opinion change or anything like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Whenever I told them I left my corporate job, they were just quiet. Like they didn't say, they were just quiet. And obviously that was like, they might as well have said like, what the hell are you doing? You know? But afterwards I started kind of sharing with them, like, I'm good. Like, I'm actually better than I was when I was in my corporate job. I'm happier. And now they don't even really ask me anymore. They're just like, whatever, you're doing it.
Yeah. And then how's your story like?
So I am, my parents are both Mexican, and I was born here in Dallas. I'm the oldest of 4 girls. So I would say my kind of story would be like, being the oldest, you kind of have a huge role on yourself. And for like, you know, these little people who are like looking up to you, and my sisters were like all of that to me. And then I would just say like kind of keeping that like mindset that you could always do it. Like to me it was like failure didn't like kind of exist. Like you had to keep trying. Like, you know, like if you fail, like, you know, my mom would always be like, you know, pick up your head. Like, you know, there's going to be things like this going on. I would say my mom's like my biggest rock in my life. Like, you know, she also did hairstylist back in the days. And she supported me throughout everything. I told her, like, you know, like, I have, like, a major, like, not my major. I went to school for, like, kind of, like, marketing and stuff, but I didn't finish it. Just because I always like, you know, that life that I want to create by myself, for myself, not just, like, business. I knew I didn't want to go into an office. I didn't, like, you know, I helped out my mom back in the days, like, cleaning offices, doing, like, warehouse things. And I'm just like, you know, my mom does so much for me and my sisters. At that time, my dad had gotten deported, and my mom just kind of had, like, 2 jobs. And I'm like, okay, like, I have to, like, put my head up and, like, keep going on for them and my sisters. So I did, like, hair school. That's why I finished it, like, in a few months. I just knew I just had to do something, you know. And we're all girls, so we all have each other's back. And I don't know, I just feel like my driven success was just like, you know, don't give up. And like, you know, even though you grew up with so much generational like trauma and like, I would say like violence and like, you know, money, debt and stuff, like my parents don't know, my mom doesn't know that. And now that I kind of go through this now, I give her that advice. You know, I'm like, you know, mom, like, you know, about money and like all of this. And I don't know, just being more like peaceful, like especially in a household of Hispanic, you know, like so much like
nothing but girls.
Yeah, so many things all the time. But it's just like kind of keeping that storm kind of low and stuff. And now that I have my business, I strive by like giving my sisters the advice and everything, and like my mom and yeah, at the end of the day, like they're everything to me. And you know, my business means a lot to me. Being like, you know, you could be like a Hispanic girl, woman, you can make it and be peaceful now, you know, throughout all these podcasts and like books. Like I read like so many books too, and I just like looking at things like positive. And yeah.
So you did mention to me too that you were born in Mexico, right?
Yes.
How has that like how were you able to like get this business, I guess, because there's so many people, you know, that have DACA or don't have DACA, and then they want to be, you know, this entrepreneur. Like what advice would you give to them to be in your position?
So I do have DACA. I think, you know, don't set your own limits. Now that you have DACA, you can work, you know, legally for whoever you want. And if you want to have your own business, then that's even better. But there's really no limits, I guess. That was a limit growing up. I always felt like I couldn't go to college. I couldn't get financial aid. If I went through those things, I still couldn't get hired, right? Legally, no one was going to hire me. So that was a burden that I grew up with. And then when DACA rolled out, I feel like the possibilities in my mind were just like endless. I was like, okay, cool. Like I can get my corporate job. And that's exactly what I did. And then once I was there for like about 5 years. But like year 3, I started feeling really unhappy. And so that's when I realized like I just need to be courageous and like follow my dreams. Like here, my parents sacrificed so much, left their country, left their family members. We all did, right? And I kind of owe it to them in a way. I owe it to myself to follow my dreams and like do the things that my parents weren't able to do. So yeah, I think you can either see your story as like, I'm a victim, like I don't have this, I don't have that, or you can just make the best out of it. Yeah.
So I noticed from the both of you, you both have like this story of like, I have to make it for my family. You know, would you say that that's like a big push to being where you are now? Or is it more like, I'm going to do it because I want to? Or do you really think that having that back end push from family, like your mom, your sisters, and then, you know, you have to feel like, you know, now it's your turn to provide for them. Like, do you feel like that comes more from family or your own self?
I would say both, because now that, you know, I'm creating this life, I want to have this for my kids, you know, for them to see that anything is possible. And for me, I guess what I strive on, what I feed on is my family, that I want to show them that it's capable, like, you know, like in all of this and that. So
I would say the same thing. I think about how much my dad worked or is working, and the fact that, you know, they didn't really get to do what they wanted to do. It was just more like they had to provide for us. And I'm also the oldest. I have a younger brother, but I also have a daughter. And so I want her to know that, like, you can do it. You know, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. So it's a push of, I think, both. Yeah, for sure.
And then I guess I want to talk a little bit about you being a mom. How has that, because I know I'm a mom too, so I know there can be some struggles with having a business, you know. How did you overcome being a mom and an entrepreneur?
It was hard. Like, going to cosmetology school, working a full-time job, going to cosmetology school, and then still having to come home and like make dinner, you know, help with homework, all those things. It was a hard 2 years. And now she actually assisted me last summer. So that was like her first job. And it was really cool just to have her in the salon and her see like everything that I do.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, it was fun. And yeah, she understands like when I'm editing content or creating content, she knows to kind of like leave me alone, you know, because it takes some serious like concentration. But now that she's older, I think it's easier. If she was a toddler, I have no idea. Like my boyfriend and I, we talk about like marriage and kids, and I'm terrified of like being pregnant behind the chair. Like I think it's amazing that like women can do so much, literally. But thinking about having a baby and like not being able to sleep at night and then going to work and like working for 9-10 hours, like, yeah, I just gotta wish me luck on that one.
And then you don't have a kid, but what were your struggles, you know, having this business? Like, I just want to see like a different perspective, you know, because not everyone has a kid. So what was your, you know, vision or, you know, your story like? What was hard for you?
I feel like I just kept wanting to do more and more. Like in my business, like I kept wanting to like reach out to like hairstylists, creating content, kind of just like seeing my plan, like making a plan, like, okay, what am I gonna do tomorrow to like, you know, make my business what it is now. Like I just kept having so many like ideas and roles at the moment, like doing everything as a hairstylist and stuff. Even so, like I am like a fiance and stuff, a girlfriend at the time. I don't know. I feel like
Did that affect your relationship at all or anything?
No, because my fiance is an artist as well. So I feel
he
like
gets it.
Yeah, he gets it, and he's like the best, and we kind of just feed off each other, like give each other feedback, and he understands like the time and so and vice versa and stuff. So, I have his support like 100%, but we are thinking of like kids in the future, and I'm just like, oh my god, like that's one thing that kind of stops me from it. I'm just like, I'm knowing the person I am now. Like, am I gonna have time? Which I am, but it's just like, it's just gonna be a whole different world. Like my whole world's gonna like flip around and stuff. But yeah, but that's my kind of like.
I love like seeing like two different perspectives of like,
know.
doing the same thing, but like two different lives,
Yeah.
and still, being able to do it. So there should be no excuse for anybody to not, chase your dreams and be an entrepreneur at that.
Yes.
So, okay, great. So now that you guys answered all the questions that I have for you guys, I know that was a lot and it kind of got deep towards the end.
Love it.
Now comes the fun part. I had you guys ask your followers, to send you some anonymous questions, and they did. And so I have them all here that I'm going to ask you guys. So one of the questions is, are there any soft skills that y'all constantly use while working but aren't talked about often? I didn't really know what that soft skills meant, so maybe y'all do. I don't know if that's like an industry word or not.
Can you repeat that question?
Yeah, so it's like, are there any soft skills that y'all constantly use while working but aren't talked about often?
Soft skills.
Or maybe just skills in general, I guess.
I mean, I feel like communication is a big one. Whenever, and I don't know if like I'm understanding the question, but whenever like our clients sit with us, sometimes they have like something that they've been wanting to talk about, and they literally would just like throw it all.
Y'all are
out
a therapist too.
Yeah. So I feel like being able to listen to them, to understand, and like not just to reply, is a big one. And also,
are there moments, sorry to cut you, are there moments where like you don't want to hear people's like business and stories? Like it might be too much for you guys. Like maybe y'all are going through something yourselves. Like,
yes. It has happened to me where I just wasn't expecting it. And I have to like poker face, like act like it didn't faze me. And then just kind of like talk to myself and just keep doing what I'm doing and just like let them talk. But I try to not let it affect me throughout the whole day, just kind of like put it in the back of my mind. Yeah, but that has happened.
Yeah, I feel like just hearing them out, they just want to be heard. But when that happens, I would just say like, I kind of just change the subject. Like, just kind of offer something like, oh, are you thirsty? Or like, kind of just change it so it doesn't get to like, where, I'll say my opinion and then, just like to not cause so much like.
You don't want to say the wrong thing about their situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like
go ahead, girl.
When like one of my clients told me like she found that her husband was cheating on her, and I honestly just wanted to be like, girl, leave his ass, like it's just not even worth it at that point. But I had to hold back because it is her life, like she is going through that, and at the end of the day I'm just like an outsider looking in. So holding back and just more of like boosting their confidence, like you deserve the best, like just keeping it positive, kind of controlling the vibe, not letting it get too
like not
dark.
trying to be a therapist, but just like an open ear,
and they're like your besties, so like next time they come, they're like, oh, we got back together, or like they should just like judgment free zone, like like I'll give you advice, but I'm sure we all have that friend that won't take it. And you're just there, to support them, kind of guide them to still do the right thing in whatever they're doing, and just giving them like that best friend advice and stuff.
Okay, so the next question they ask is, What has been your biggest accomplishments thus far, and what are your future goals? So I guess like what have you accomplished, and what do we expect to see from you guys now?
I would say my accomplishment is my business, my little space at the studio, and just becoming like my own boss. And, I take a lot of pride, meaning like that I do everything behind the scenes of just being a hairstylist, like, like photography, marketing, financial, like literally everything. And I would say, yeah, that's mine.
I kind of set like a goal last year of how much I wanted to make. And I feel like I achieved it. So that makes me really happy. It's like evidence that it can be done if you put your mind to it.
Right.
So just seeing that like number, I was just really proud of myself. And I don't know, like I love that I also got into photography. Like I wasn't expecting whenever I was like, okay, I want to be a hairstylist. I wasn't expecting to be like a photographer and like, enjoy making content. And I think I want to keep not perfecting, but I just want to keep growing, keep growing and connecting with my clients and just giving them like the best experience. Like we started, I literally started doing hair like in my apartment, washing my clients like in the kitchen sink. And I always wanted to just set like a good vibe for them. Like I would have candles, like a clean apartment, of course. And then my clients have been growing with me and like they stick with me. And to me, that's like an achievement, I feel like.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
To wash hair in the sink, to
Girl.
having your own salon, like that's
yeah. And now we're like in a double studio and I have an assistant now, and then like Crystal's with me, and just seeing the growth, like even if it's a little bit, you know what I mean? It's still growth.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, let's see. What was your hardest obstacle when you were starting your career?
I think not really having the clientele, having that drive and like wanting to be like really good at hair, and not really knowing like what steps I would have to take to get there.
So the next question is, which they said, weird question, but I'm asking this as a tomboy who thinks you both are so pretty. How do you maintain yourselves, or rather lean into your femininity? Any advice would be appreciated.
I love that question.
To me, like when I tap into my like feminine energy, I like go get my nails done, get my hair done. I don't know, like I kind of tap into like my masculinity energy too.
Both.
Yeah, like I'm a little bit of both. But I think, doing those things that make me feel like girly and stuff, doing my makeup different in the morning, adding eyeliner once in a while, like little things like that. Yeah, that's what I do.
I love to dress up. Like I love like going on Pinterest and like looking at outfits that I could recreate from my closet. Like recycle outfits, because I used to have this thing where I would buy like a new outfit or whatever just because like it's a new event, like blah blah blah. But I would say like I love being a girl, like all the little things, having a skincare, doing your nails, makeup, accessories, just like a lot of things, and just knowing that you have peace within yourself, that you like a classy woman, you're not out there like like causing big drama or like being loud. And a lot of it, like I said, podcasts and like reading and just all of that. I love going on little coffee shops and doing like little content here and there, and just like showing more of like that I just don't just do hair. Like I have like my own like little life, like that Pilates and all of this. Like I love all of that
for you.
I love all that. So, but then I get like days where I'm just like, oh, like I'm gonna go hard at the gym, I'm gonna lift weights, like it's just like a best of both worlds. And I just feel like
just whatever the vibe
just
is
own
the day.
it. Just own it, and be that main character.
I feel like leg day makes me feel feminine because
that booty pump.
I'm like, let me get this booty right.
Yeah.
Alrighty, the next question is advice on managing money.
That's all you, Crystal. We talked about that.
Advice on what money?
Managing money.
Managing money.
I guess like in your personal life.
I would
in
say
general?
I'm not like the materialistic. Like I just know that of myself. I rather like spend some money on like I love like going for dupes or like like whatever. Like at the end of the day, nobody really cares. I feel like it's just more of like an ego thing. But I just feel like I love going to like thrift stores and all of this, knowing that you get more of your budget. And I like to just be like, if I can't afford it, like I just won't, like I have to be making. And right now, like as a hairstylist, like it's kind of slow. So if I'm not really bringing in that income, I'm just like I just can't do what I usually do or whatever. But and then also I'm planning a wedding, so it's just like like
so you're on a budget.
Yeah, I'm on a budget. I'm like looking on TikTok DIYs and all of that.
Yeah,
We're
we're actually also reading a book right now.
Oh yes.
What book is it?
It's called Money Magic.
It's amazing.
And just like knowing your beliefs with money and
I'm gonna snag that book.
Oh
yeah.
yes, join the book club.
It's really good, yeah. And it just basically talks about like your beliefs with it. If you believe you like deserve it or can keep it or can make it.
Yes.
Like your relationship with it.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Especially growing up, like like debt and like money, like being short on money and everything. And it's just like once you put your mind that you deserve this money or whatever, once you look at it differently, it comes to you easily,
Yeah.
And at the end, money is energy. So you just kind of have to believe that you're deserving of that and you're working towards that and it's going to appear. And yeah, it's a really good book.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we did talk a little bit about taxes, but this person said, do you get to write off on getting your own hair done as it's part of the job to look it?
I hope so. I hope so. I will park that question and maybe answer it later. I am going tomorrow with my tax consultant. So
I guess, ask your tax person, see if what is and isn't. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And then what is the best word of advice you can share with men or women interested in the hair industry?
Follow your dreams. If that's your passion, go for it. Have a purpose, right? So why do you want to do this? And with those two things, like I feel like you're unstoppable. And also just get ready to like really work. Like, it's not, clients are not going to fall in your lap. You have to look for them and you have to put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how you're going to learn.
Is there like any tips for people to find clients?
I feel like word of mouth is really important.
Social media,
just putting yourself out there, asking family and friends to be your models.
Yes. Taking lots of models once you do like a class, like an education class.
Yeah.
A lot of the questions are the same. So this is the last question that I have for you guys. How do you deal with toxicity being in a woman business of the beauty hair industry? I guess, yeah.
Oh, man. That's a good one. I think if you feel that you're in a toxic environment, it's probably just not the best to thrive in. I feel like you should just control what you can control. And if somebody's coming at you a certain way or making you feel a certain way, either just ignoring it, not taking it personal, because clearly they're going through something that you have like it's not your fault. They're just taking it out on you. But yeah, just trying to surround yourself with empowering women, I think, or men, because men can be toxic too. But yeah, just trying to surround yourself with like good people that want to see you do well, and vice versa.
Yeah, I would say putting in your head, like, that's not who you are, to kind of just not feed into it and to other people's, like, what they're kind of just saying over there in the corner, in the break room or whatever. I would do that a lot. I would, like, exclude myself out of it because it's draining, like, you're there for a good time to do good hair and be there for your clients, like, give them the full attention and everything. So I would just exclude myself and kind of know who you are at the end of the day and not letting things be too personal or like taking them home with you, because it does affect like, who you're with at home, and they're not deserving of that, because we all have bad days and stuff. So just not putting, like 100% attention to it and stuff. And at the end of the day, like girls will be girls, but it's like women who kind of want to, give that positive to each other and like, talk about good things, talk about business, empower each other and
be surrounded with the same mindset.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I love, like being with like Elizabeth and everything. I've never felt like any type of like jealousy or anything. Like I love that, we get to like work from each other, and like, she's good at like the business part of the whole, like everything, and we just kind of go well and everything. And that's what I love about, surrounding myself with that and with you too. So
I did notice, like, so I actually seen Crystal when she worked for a salon, and then now I also went to go see you when you had your own business, and I did notice one thing about you was you didn't actually talk to your coworkers. You were just kind of like, I'm here for business and I'm here, my client's here, and I'm just going to focus on my client, because I do notice that whenever I go to like other hairstylists, like they're talking,
notice, right?
They're talking to the person next to them. Girl, my man, this, that, girl, like I hear it all.
That's just not me. That's never been me.
I did notice that with you, actually.
That's so cool.
And I mean, I would talk to them. I'd be like, have a good day, or like, like, how was it? Just not to focus on the negative. There's so much more to like life than just talking about negative. And that's like my biggest egg.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I loved having you guys on here. It really felt like they were nervous at first, and I was like, don't worry. It's just like we're in the living room talking to each other, and that was totally the vibe. So y'all brought the energy, and thank you guys so much for coming. If you guys are listening to this, don't forget we are also on YouTube, so you can check us out at the THEMADGC podcast on YouTube. We are also on every streaming service, and if you haven't checked us out on YouTube, definitely check us out. Other than that, thank you guys so much for coming in again. Thank you guys for asking all these awesome questions. Don't forget that we are here every other week, and next episode is going to be a dilemma. So if you have anything going on in your life that you need advice on, just head over to themadgirlsclub.com, submit your dilemma, and then we will answer it on our next episode. Other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye.